Hey guys, thanks for joining us here at Salty Ginger Talk. If you're a returning listener, it's great to have you back. If you're new to the channel, we're really glad you joined us. Hope you like what you hear. Our podcast is targeted at people that want to learn something new or improve themselves, make themselves a little bit better every day. And so to that end, we are going to give you today a step-by-step instructions and approach on how to handle attacks, insults, and disrespect like a pro, so you wind up in a good spot and you can kind of diffuse those types of things. So that kind of stuff happens all the time in the real world, and I would say it's different if you're one of those people that loves to be online and chat and go back and forth with people online. The accountability for online comments and statements is much less visceral than face to face. So there's a lot of what do we call them? Keyboard cowboys, tough guys, whatever, that will sit behind a computer and type anything out that they want. It's very different to say things to people's faces. And when you encounter someone who's willing to challenge you or denigrate you or insult you face to face, it's useful to have a playbook and an approach and a plan on how to handle those situations like a pro, so you can diffuse the situation, make yourself feel better about the situation, and come out on the other side in a good way. And so that's what we're talking about. Doesn't mean this stuff wouldn't work online, but generally there's much less kind of personal, immediate accountability to comments made online. And, I guess when you think about it, the online stuff can happen over a period of time, and a lot of people get canceled and or piled on or called out for making stupid comments online. So what we're really talking about here is in personal interactions with people, whether it's personally, whether it's professionally, regardless of the scenario. How do you deal with it when someone just comes at you and says something really insulting or really tries to attack you, make you feel bad, shame you, whatever the case may be? So it's somebody trying to tear you down. It's an emotional attack. It's called an ad hominem attack, meaning they're attacking the person. So if I make an argument and someone says, well, whatever, shut up, you have freckles. That's not a valid argument to the points that I made. That is, I don't like people with freckles. Okay, fine, but that's not really what we're talking about here. And so when someone's coming at you, it can hurt you personally. It can damage your credibility. It can damage the relationships. It can hurt someone's peace of mind. And it's just not a good way to go. So we're going to learn how to respond to these situations. And respond is the key word here, not react. Because a reaction is what they're looking for. When someone's attacking you, they're looking for a reaction from you. And it's literally the worst thing you can do is react to it. And so we're going to teach you how to respond to it without reacting to it. And I think this will be very valuable for you to have in your repertoire as you move forward in life. And this works anywhere. Personal, professional, any situation. So the first step, the first thing you do, let's just say someone attacks you. Let's say you make a comment. Someone says, well, you're stupid. So the you're stupid and I don't know how you got this job. The best thing you can do first is nothing. And that's a hard thing to do for a lot of people. But literal silence for somewhere between 2 to 7 seconds. 7 seconds doesn't seem like a long time until someone has threw an insult out and you just let it hang there for 7 seconds. And so that's by far the best response. At first is silence, absolute silence. And the reason that works is because it de-escalates the situation. It gives everybody involved in the situation, whether it's the person that hurled the insult, the person who the insult was directed towards, or anyone else involved in the conversation who's witnessing the insult. What it actually does, that silence actually shifts the power back onto your side, because it shows that you're not reactionary. It shows that you can't be goaded or baited into an argument or a fight. And it shows that you can control your emotions and stick to the topic. Plus, it de-escalates the whole thing. So that's number one. Number one thing is pause. Say nothing. During this pause, we're going to try to assess the intent of the attack. Is this just an emotional outburst from someone whose emotions got the best of them? Or are they trying to attack you and tear you down? Or are they trying to communicate to you, but just doing so in a really shitty way? So if someone says to you, man, your presentation was terrible. No one understood a word what you were talking about. The first thing to do there is, like we talked about, nothing. Pause, stop, silence, say nothing. And that gives it a chance to kind of calm down a little bit. And then one response is, can you tell me specifically what didn't land for you? Unemotionally? The inflection of my voice doesn't change. Tell me what specifically didn't work for you. Tell me what specifically you didn't like about it. Now, the reason that works is because it disarms them, because they just tried to insult you and you pivot to facts. And that's a very disconcerting thing for someone who's trying to attack you personally. It puts the focus on solutions and details instead of, hey, that presentation sucked and I think you're stupid. So that's one approach. Another thing you can do in this instance is ask them to repeat it. Say, can you repeat that? I'm not sure I heard exactly what you said. Can you repeat that? Make them say it again. A lot of times what people will do, if that is the case, and it was an emotional outburst, they will say, look, I should have said that. I'm sorry. I let my emotions get the best of me. Please forgive me. I take it back. Let's move on. So a lot of times you can derail it right there just by asking them to repeat what they said. But your job is to assess the intent of the attack. Are they trying to give you feedback? Maybe you did do a shitty job on your report. Maybe you did do a shitty job on your presentation. And there could be value in harvesting the information that they have available so you can change and update the report and make it useful for the next time you give it or the next audience you give it to. So, but again, the other thing there is just that say, hey, can you repeat that? Can you say it again? A lot of times they'll just pull it back right there. Okay. Step number 3. We're going to stay grounded in self-respect. We're not going to stoop. We're not going to grovel. We're not going to beg. We're going to maintain our dignity. We're going to maintain our decorum. We're not going to lose our temper. We're not going to hurl insults back at them. We're not going to match their negative energy with more negative energy from our side. So if someone says, you're just lazy and don't care about your work, what you can do is respond and say, after you pause, remember the pause is very important. I don't agree with that, but I'm open to hearing what's driving your comments. So it works because it shows you're calm, it shows you're composed, and you're not giving them what they want, which is a reaction. They want a reaction out of you when they make these types of statements or comments, and you don't owe them a reaction. The best thing you can do is not react. And it's not hard to do if you practice it. You have to consider the source and just say, hey, I don't agree with what you just said, but what's driving it? What makes you say that? Again, we're pivoting from emotions and personal attacks to facts and things that we can deal with and make better. And that's why that works. Okay. Step number 4, call it out without escalating. Remember, we're not looking to escalate. We're not looking to give them a rise. We're not looking to give them the reaction that they're looking for, but call it out and name the behavior. That's the same thing that asking them to repeat the question does. But if someone says something personal about you and then you get upset and they say, oh, you're so sensitive, it was just a joke. You can say, hey, look, that didn't feel like a joke to me. I'd rather have a straightforward conversation. I'd rather talk about facts. I'd rather talk about things we can control. Or if someone snaps, you can say, wow, you seem pretty angry. Are you okay? So calling it out and labeling, right? That seemed personal. It seemed like a personal attack. That seemed like you were upset. It seemed like we touched a nerve there. It seemed like something upset you there. By labeling that information, you're setting boundaries and looking to clarify and understand where they're coming from so you can help engage and solve the problem. But you're not doing it in an aggressive way. And that's very important. You got to stay level. You got to stay calm. You don't want the pitch of your voice to change. You don't want the tone of your voice to change. You don't want to be leaning towards them. You don't want to be clenching your fists. You want to be calm and rational, and you're setting boundaries without using aggression. And so that's why calling it out or labeling it works so well. Okay, now step 5. You can exit or redirect with grace. If they keep pushing, if they want to continue to go down this road, you can simply just disengage unemotionally, not responding, not giving, not showing emotion outwardly. If they keep doing what they were doing, you can just say, look, this isn't worth continuing if we're just going to be insulting each other. So if you want to talk constructively, let me know. Otherwise, let's just call it good for now. So it shows that you're strong. It shows that you're not going to back down, but it also shows that you're not just going to sit there and take it, that you're not going to engage in the conversation only on their terms and in their way. And it allows you to take control of the situation, of your time, of where you spend your focus, of where you direct your energy. And that part's very important. So those are the 5 steps we use in these instances. They're pretty automatic for us at this point because we deal with a lot of aggressive people. Just, I don't know if it's the businesses we work in or what, but for whatever reason, we've dealt with a lot of aggressive people in our lives. And so these are tried and true methods, battle tested in the real world that work. So they work in workplace, responding to difficult coworkers or micromanagers. And yes, you can say these things up. You can say these things to bosses. You can say these things to managers. You can say these things to the people you report to if you do them in the way we're coaching you to do so. Unemotional, not reactionary, but fact-based and pushing back. That's the way to do it. Online. So how to apply, you can talk about, you can try these things online. Again, it's a little different environment online because people have much less personal accountability. There's no one sitting in front of them giving them a visceral reaction. And so online comments or online arguments or online debates, it's harder to move people off of a position online than it is face to face when you're dealing with somebody. So these also work in family situations. If you've got drama in your family or you're working, on changing somebody in your family's mindset about participating in family events or settling an estate if someone passes away or dealing with aging parents or a difficult sibling or an aunt or uncle who needs help, right? So a lot of times emotion will get involved in that and people will turn to personal attacks or personal insults to try to get their point across or gain power in a situation. And these are great ways to de-escalate that, not give them that power, but still leave things in a place where you can have a productive conversation and work through the things you need to work through with people that are going to continue to remain in your life. So remember, you don't have to win at that moment. You just have to win long-term. You're trying to win long-term. Get them off of the personal attacks, try to get them to calm down, try to get them to engage in fact-based, real conversations that lead to solutions. We talk about it on this channel a lot. Focus on solutions, not positions. It's difficult to move people off positions. When people are solution-oriented, they're a lot easier conversations, but sometimes you have to help them get there. So, okay. So remember, pause, assess, deep breath, ground yourself, and then you call it out, label it, ask them to repeat it, and you can just exit the conversation if they refuse to engage in productive and useful conversation. If they keep wanting to go down this road, you don't have to sit and take it. Just say, hey, let's revisit this when you're in a better spot. That sounds good. So next time someone says something, the first one is the most important one, I'm telling you. If you can just pause and say nothing, the longer you can pause and say nothing, the more powerful it is. And not responding at all is a super powerful way to deal with these types of situations for sure. And so just focus on that first one. If you're going to focus on anything, just pause. Don't do anything. See what happens if you just do that. So that's it, guys. Love to hear from you. If you've used this, if these techniques work for you, if you listen to our video and then apply these, we'd love to hear real world examples of how these were helpful for you after you watched and learned these techniques through our videos. So James puts it up over here every day. Don't forget to go to our website, saltygingertalk.com. All our podcast episodes are available there. All our social media links available there. We publish a newsletter every weekday you can subscribe to there. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to wherever you consume our podcast, whatever platform you're on. It's great if you can like, comment, and subscribe. Helps gets our message in front of more people, builds the audience, and we think that's a good thing. So This episode will air on a Monday. Hope everyone has a great week, and we will see you next time.